Hello lads and ladies, and welcome back for another video on the channel. League One time. The end of the season is here, which means we're going to rustle a few feathers. And no, we're not talking about Bradford City, the Chickens, getting promoted to League One. It's time for our League One team of the season. Me and my good pal Jake from Here for the Lincoln podcast do a podcast every Sunday night together. And what better way to end those for this season on a League One team of the seasons? We agree on some stuff, but we disagree on a lot of stuff. We have come together and we've agreed and settled on a team. Jake came with his team to me. I went to Jake with my team. And at the end of it, after the end, conversation at the end of the 20 minutes, we realised I was right, Jake was wrong. And we came, no, Jake has convinced me on a couple of selections. A bit like...
A bit like what, Ben?
How's going on Twitter?
Let's keep it in. I would like the viewers to know that the majority of this team was selected by myself before we get started. Majority.
No. I think I've let you have a few selections because I don't want to argue with you. And more so that you've said, yeah. So if you hate this team, give him abuse. If you like this team, give me praise.
By you. Should we crack on with the goalkeeper?
In goal, I think there was a few. I think Ryan Allsop, clean sheet galore at Birmingham, was hardly tested though. I think that you've got to put in the conversation of Sam Tickle as well, a good young goalkeeper. But I'm going to go for Arthur Okonkwo. And why I'm selecting him is loads of clean sheets. He was on loan last season. He stepped up a level. Good, shot stopper. Very, very still, I think, a young goalkeeper as well. Proved his worth at times this season, made some vital saves.
Just a very good goalkeeper, one with a lot of potential, who I imagine will certainly stay with Wrexham on their rise, maybe to the Premier League. The number of clean sheets speaks for itself, and he's playing for a team that hardly concede any goals. So, yeah, he was a must-have.
We go left back first.
The left back was the player that I was more insistent on than you. We've gone for Jack Curry technically of Oxford United on loan at Leyton Orient, but I think he's been the outstanding left wing back of the division. Assists, he's part of that Leyton Orient sort of quartet up front that, with Jamie Donnelly, Charlie Kelman, Abdullah, etc., Dan Hadji. On the left, so many assists, so many chances have come from him. Defensively, perhaps he's not outstanding, but he's been a big part of why Orient have scored so many goals. And I think you can tell when Orient didn't have him in the team, all of a sudden they went on a bit of a dip of form, didn't they? And hence they've had him back in the team. They've won a load of games and they got themselves in the top six.
I think what they've done very well this year, Leyton Orient, is they've had stars. I think Jamie Donnelly, he's got 18 goal contributions, got 10 assists this year. Attacking Curry sometimes has to kind of shift back a little bit as a bit of a yo-yo. You go, I'll stay. So for me, I think Alex Cochrane could have been well up there. I think Alex Cochrane has been one of the most underrated players in the division this year. Look, this team could be full of Birmingham City players, Stockport players, Wycombe players, Wrexham players, and it's very hard to draw. Well, he's in, why is he not in? Or my left back's better than. I am trying to get players from different football clubs and seeing different attributes as well. Went for a back three. Most teams in the division play a back three. A team that don't play a back three that got in, I think, is, for me, the best player in the division is Christoph Clara. At times, he hasn't been tested this season, but when he has, he looks a step above. Commanding with the ball, can bring the ball out. Good with the ball at his feet, can play into Paik and Iwata, and it helps that them two can play as well. He's a good defender, good one-on-one. Can head and kick the ball away from the Birmingham City box as well. And you can really tell that he's a top player at the level. And when he goes up, yes, it's another level, and he's going to be tested a bit more. He's going to be tested. My issue is people compare their centre-backs, saying they've got more blocks, more tackles, more interceptions. Yes, you are, because you're tested more. And for me, if you give Christoph Clara the same amount of blocks as other defenders, he'd be well up there as well. Fantastic player. And for me, has to get into our League One team of the season.
Yeah, I think he's been one of the best in the league. Shall I move on to one of our other defenders? Because I'm very keen to speak about him.
Yeah. For me, there's no doubt in my mind that Lloyd Jones has to go into the team.
Lloyd Jones is in the team, but he's not the one. Go on.
We'll go on with Lloyd Jones and we'll save the best till last. That's what I'm doing. So if you're watching, I think for me, Lloyd Jones has been solid this season. I think that he's been the reason why Charlton have conceded very few goals. When you look at it, Charlton have only conceded 43 goals, which sounds a lot. Stockport 42, Wrexham 34, Birmingham 31. They are ahead of that, but less goals conceded than Wycombe, who were unbelievable for 8 months as well. And you can really tell that the rest side that has got better as the season's gone on. For me, Lloyd Jones is part of that. Yes, Macaulay Gillespie is, for me, a very good centre-back. Lloyd Jones scored a few goals as well, played 36 times this season as well.
It's kicked him on another level. And I like Gillespie. I had Gillespie in my team purely for a little bit of balance on the left-hand side. If this was a proper game, I'd probably want a left-footed centre-half in there. The record this season, he's a bit of a warrior, a bit like our other centre-back, who I'm going to mention now, Skipper, my man, Paudie O'Connor. I don't think this is a questionable one at all. Probably get a lot of other fans, maybe highlighting Tyler Binden or somebody like that who was up in my reckoning, but Paudie O'Connor has probably been, statistically, in terms of having to defend, the best centre-back in the league this year. Kicks everything, puts his head where it hurts, clears everything. Just an outstanding player who has contributed. You can talk about the goals that we've conceded, but they've not been his fault whatsoever. A really good commanding centre-back who I am gutted won't be at Lincoln next season, but had to make the team, Ben, didn't he?
I think it speaks volumes that in the last 3 seasons, he's missed 17 league games of football. And for different reasons, I think he's had a suspension in there. He's had injuries recently as well. And to miss 17 games, to be a regular in a Lincoln City squad that have been good defensively, to be captain of the football club, and you notice when he's not there as well. And he's one of those type of centre-backs from corners, set pieces, where Lincoln City are very good at set piece again. Ole. He offers you a physical threat, and you feel like if you're going away at Bolton, you think you can, or a big club, you're going to win 1-0, set piece is going to be vital. You think big Paudie O'Connor is going to score you a goal.
I did want to throw in as well, just as a contender, and I don't think he'll get many votes because, again, he plays for Lincoln. Sean Rowan, Ben, who at the age of 22 has played every single minute of every single League and Cup game for Lincoln this season, which is an outstanding achievement. I think, again, like Paudie, maybe gets overlooked because he plays for Lincoln, but he is one of
I think he does.
The left-sided centre-backs in the league.
Right wing back, I'm going to go for Ryan Barnett. Yes, the last couple of weeks, a couple of bench appearances, but still played 40 times this season, 31 starts, 9 assists, a couple of goals in there as well. I think he scored against Mansfield, didn't he? One of those winners in there as well. He loves, the getting forward, getting assists as well. I remember he scored the winner against Wigan back in December as well. I like my fullbacks to get forward, get cross into the box, get assists. When you're playing a back three, they're important, your wing backs, because they are your width. And I think that whoever it is, it's Longman, McLean, or Barnett. For me, right wing back's a difficult area. I think it's only him or Ethan Laird, in my opinion.
The right wing back area has not been one of quality this year, whereas it was
last
season.
No. I think last was miles above everyone.
Yeah, last season, was head and shoulders above everybody else. But this year, I feel like Barnett's got in this team because he's had a really good first half of the season. Second half, ever since January, and they've invested a lot of money into Ryan Longman, Wrexham. He's sort of been in and out of the team. But that first half, in terms of assists, he was way out in front of everybody. The impact that he had on that Wrexham team was phenomenal. So, he deserves a place, I think, purely because that half of football, that half of the season was outstanding.
Midfield, then, I think for me, it starts off with me it's a mix-up between 2 players, and they play for the same football club. Peak and Iwata have been an absolute joy to watch this season for different reasons. But I'm going to go for Tomoki Iwata. Now, Tomoki Iwata, goals, 6 goals from midfield this season as well. For me, you take Peak away from Iwata's not the same player. I think that if you had to have one of them, I think you probably would pick Peak just for his impact on other players as well. But Iwata at 28 years of age, he looks like a 23, 24-year-old still, but the maturity of a 28, 29-year-old, on his CV as well. And he's been an absolute gem this season to come over here and boss League One. And I think that it's a staple. It's just a shame we can't have them both in. We could, but we're not.
Yeah, Pagan and Water are saucy, aren't they? They really are. You can tell they come from high quality. Water coming from Celtic, obviously. Paik having come through La Masia in Spain. But yeah, Water's been so consistent for Birmingham this year. I think he's been probably their player of the season, maybe over someone like Alfie May, Stansfield, Christoph Clara.
I think Clara's been their best player.
I just think the way that he controls midfield, playing for a Birmingham team, Ben, that teams sit deep against week in, week out, you've got to move the ball quickly. And that's exactly what Iwata does. He's popped up with a couple of really good goals, one against Bolton that I remember he scored a worldie. I think Iwata is slightly better than Paik, slightly.
For me, I think Reading this season have been an absolute joy to watch. Me and Jake had a disagreement. I wanted Harvey Nibbs in. I thought 20 goal contributions again for him in a team that I think he's got 14 goals and added 6 assists. He only had a couple of assists with a few games, so he added assists late on in the season. Is phenomenal. I think Jake argued for Lewis Wing. Why was that, Jake?
Well, I just think he's the captain. He's led this young group through the entirety of this season. He's been level-headed. And I think he's popped up with quality at several moments of the season. Reading have turned to Lewis Wing at several moments this season. Yeah, you've got Harvey Nibbs who's contributed. I'm not doubting that, but I think maybe Nibbs has stepped up a little bit more since the departure of Sam Smith to fill that void of goals. Whereas I think Lewis Wing's been a threat all season. Goals amounts. His goal of the season really is phenomenal on his own. Like I say, captain. Led this group of really young players, and perhaps it's that mindset thing over actual ability, whereas numbers and stuff like that. I just think Lewis Wing is one hell of a footballer who shouldn't be playing at League One level. But I think he's had a slightly better season. The numbers maybe don't back it up. I think if you watched enough League One, I think you'd see Lewis Wing has more of an impact on running games than Harvey Nibbs.
For me, it's got to be an attacking midfielder that gets goals, that gets assists. And you want your attacking midfielder to contribute. You always think 70 goals a season, where they're going to come from. You want 30 from your front two, and then that man is next up. Well, I think Davis Keeler done 25 goal contributions in 45 games. And bear in mind, he's got 26 goal contributions in all competitions in 44 games for Barnsley. Those 25 goal contributions have come in 42 games for Barnsley, playing a few games for Mansfield at the start of the season. He did win at Oakwell for Mansfield at the start of the season. He struggled to win at Oakwell since, being a Barnsley player, but 25 goal contributions, 18 goals for the season, and one of the top goal scorers in the division from an attacking midfield role in a side that have really struggled in 2025, been at around about a point a game mark. He's just done so well, and
I couldn't imagine what would have happened if Barnsley had a decent centre forward for him to feed every week. Maybe we could be talking about a player with 40 goal involvements rather than 25. But yeah, I don't think anyone else could have been in this team rather than Davis Keeler Dunn. What a season he's had. Got the move to Barnsley after a great season in League Two last year and has just stepped up massively, been one of the best players in the league. The goals, there's so many times this season, like I just mentioned with Lewis Wing, Barnsley have turned to Davis Keeler Dunn to win them games, and he's stepped up each and every week. And those numbers speak for themselves, don't they? Those numbers are only going to be higher. So, yeah, a really good season for Davis Keeler Dunn.
The man who's got the second most goal contributions in the division. And you mentioned the second most, has always got to be first most, and they've got to go into the team, is Mr. Charlie Kelman, who has been on absolute fire this season. 15 goals in 2025. He's got 26 goal contributions. He scored 21 goals, and he struggled at the start of the season to really get up and going. But Leyton Orient have won, I think, 6 on the spin now, which is a remarkable trim to get into the playoffs. And you look at those 21 goals, you think, how many were penalties? He scored 1 penalty goal. He's expected with his chances 20 goals. He's got 21. So he's outperformed his XG and added 5 assists as well. And he's a physical unit you can use as well.
Scored so many winning goals. He often scores in spurts. So he goes and scores 2 in a game, then 1, 2, then 1. Doesn't score for a couple, and then he's back on it. but he's just a menace. He's just a menace. He pops up and he's a proper penalty box striker, Ben. And he's been the difference with Leyton Orient because, you know, if Leyton Orient had Charlie Kelman, the amount of points that he's won them on his courtesy of his goals will probably be enough for Orient probably to drop back into the middle of the table. So yeah, an excellent season. I'm interested to see what happens if Leyton Orient get themselves promoted, what they try and do with him. But certainly QPR have got one hell of a player that will be massively in demand in the EFL this summer.
Centre forward option number 2.
Third pick would have been Matty Godden for me. I think he's had a great year.
Matty Godden's in my top 5.
Score the goals to help them get into the playoffs. My second pick was probably Richard Kone.
Yeah.
He's had a great season at 21. And then we've gone for, haven't we, to be fair to him, Sam Smith. Great second half of the season with Wrexham, scored the goals to get them promoted. When he comes in, because I think you can argue the same case with Sam Smith, because he had a big price tag on his head, didn't he, when he moved to Wrexham from Reading. He's taken that in his stride, scored some really good goals, some really big goals. I think the 2 goals against Charlton, I think the goal away at Wickham as well. In a really big game. So yeah, Sam Smith's had a really good season, not just with Wrexham. He was great for Reading. He was carrying that Reading team up the table at the time. But it was very close between those 3. And I think we've gone for Smith purely because he's got his team over the line and promoted. If Godden or Kone produce something in the playoffs worth noticing, then maybe I would be swayed. But I think Sam Smith has got them over the line, so I would go for him.
I think Matty Godden's been brilliant this season, don't get me wrong. And then I also think that Kone has been great. Maybe you think short term he's not been great, like I think for the last 2 or 3 months. I think that there's been a few knocks there as well, which is understandable. He still scored the same amount of goals as Sam Smith. But Sam Smith, he went for, I think, was it a room with £1.5–2 million to Wrexham after scoring a lot. I think he had 11 for Reading in the first half of the season. He only scored 1 in his first 6. He was struggling for goals, and then what's happened since he's found the net and scored 7 goals this year and scored 2 goals against Charlton. That's obviously sent this team up. But I think the noticeable, misses.
Honourable mentions,
yeah, Kone, Mothersill potentially has had a great year as well. I even think the likes of, we've had no Stockport players in.
I did have, in fairness, I did have Ollie Norwood in my team.
Stockport County, in my eyes, has been the most consistent team. They won 25 games this year. I think that the likes of Hill, since coming in January, has been outstanding. I think Ollie Norwood's been brilliant. I think he's one of the best players in the league.
Anton Alafe
has been outstanding as well. I think Louis Barry was obviously, but I'm not having a player in that was in for 3 months.
Cleworth was one, and Tyler Binden.
Staying at Stockport, Fraser Horsfield's only played 28, 29 times this season as well. You think even the likes, of outside the playoffs, Albie Morgan at Blackpool has been really good as well. Oliver Casey, potentially as well. It's very hard. It's very hard to create a team. Let me know your team down below. Jake, thank you very much for joining me, my mate.
Thank you, mate. It's been fun. I appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Please give us a like. Please subscribe. If you haven't already, this is your home of League One content. Until next time, I will see you later.